Hello, my name is Dr. Talil Abrhiem. I'm going to cover today for you the human resources, how to create a value through them, and how to build these kind of best practices, and also how to build strength through the human resources. As you know, most of the organizations, they try to hire the skills and the talent people for their organization. The question is you're going to ask me, why most of the people they want to hire the skills peoples? As you know, as a labor's forces, we have so many forces facing the organization, like education forces, employment forces, training forces, globalization. All these forces any kind of firm's organization toward a competitive advantage. For example, education, they're looking for degrees and they're looking for knowledge for the people who's going to bring for the organization. And as you know now, as the competitives in the markets, so they're looking for most of the people, they have 2 degrees, at least probably diploma and bachelor degree, or they're looking for bachelor degree and master degree, and they're looking for experience in both, at least 2 organizations, and they're looking for also globalization experience, so I call them 2 and 2 and 2. And for training, they're looking for skills and knowledge. Why? Because they want to prepare those individuals for the futures, because each organization through their vision and missions have to look for the futures, what their competitors they do, and so they have to prepare those people for the knowledge they needed and the training. And also for the globalization. For globalization, as you know, most of the organization, they do international business, they do multinational business, and they do also globalization business. And as they move the organization or the firm to different countries to do the business, or they can do it by sending people down there or bringing people down here for globalization. Again, why they doing this one? Everything to save money, labors, and they're looking for skills, technology. Most of the people they ask questions, why some organization they stay in business and they stay competitive. The questions for that one is everything about, and they keep consistency, profitability in that organization. For 3 reasons. Sometimes you have to have a desirable industrials, what the people looking for. The second thing is technology and resources. Number 1, they have better equipment to do. All these things, it create why they make this kind of organization innovative and stay in business. As also, something come to my mind about how developing your strong brand image for your organization. I know most of the organization, they do marketing and they advertise the business, and they think, probably miracle happening here and there, and they create more business. Any industrial, educational industrials, hospitals, business, in any kind of industrials, to me is to how to build the brand for you. What's your brand you are in? What kind of industrial you are in? Because the brand you have, you have to focus on that brand and try to build the networking for that brand. What I mean by that one? If I ask a question, I said tea company, you're going to think about right away. You're going to say Lipton. If I said tissue, you're going to say clinics. If I said hotels, you're going to say, for example, Marriott hotels. If I said internet, it's come to your mind right away, for example, like Comcast. My question is, look at your industrial, what kind of business you do, and it creates some kind of image for your business, and do some kind of networking for it. Like what I mean by networking, by hashtagging those things, like by internets, Facebooks, anything, whatever you have. That's networking you're creating. That is very important to create a strong image for your business. Because if you don't have that image in your business, people are not going to look into it. So this is very important for any organizations. And the human resources also helping the people to create that kind of image. As you know, for example, like if I mention, for example, like the people, they reach competitive advantage, so many industrial in the market. If I go, for example, like Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's, when it started in 1960, was with three stores. Right now, they have over 350 stores. They do sell over like $7 billion. Their philosophy, how to bring some kind of educated customers for their business. Because they think those educated customers who come to the business will build some kind of royalty inside business, and they stay with them. And also beside as the rest of the story, you know, low prices, varieties, communication, working knowledge, employees, training people, all these things, this is with the mix. And the same thing for the Walmart, the same thing what they do the business is for the low cost and for to differentiate their products. And also if you can look at McDonald's, how to bring the student from the high schools, how to bring him in, and flexible schedule. All these peoples, all these organizations, they doing it for the flexibility, for the communication, and how for the royalty, all these things to bring, you know, to bring the brand name for their business, and they stay competitive in the market. And they stay also back again to consistency in the market. As you know, organizations go through life cycles. Any like a products you have in the marketing you study, you know, it goes through life cycles. So as organizations go through four, you know, life cycles in their business. It's going through entrepreneurial cycles, and that's in the beginning of their careers, and that's when they start this organization to survive, because it's just start coming in the market. Another stage is through communal. Communal stages has to do something with innovation, expansions. The third stage is going to be formalization. After that, you know, this stage is you have to know how to do the practices, how to do the procedures for the organization. And the last stage is called evaluation or elaboration. That's meaning is going to be reach the top of the curve, and it's going to do the organization change. What I mean by that one, after start from the beginning, and it's, you know, the product start being saturated, and it's reaching all the way to the curves for the value creation and frontiers. Now it has to be changed because so many competitive, so many innovations, so many technology. So we have to be ahead of the games, and that's what they go through, that cycles. And also through the human resources, you see the core function of the human resources is a big menu, the human resources. It's not like in the beginning of the 1990, we are the 2015s right now. What we have before is like only they call them personal management. Now we have a big menu for that one, like how to developing equal employment opportunity, how to do recruiting, how to do selections, how we do training for the employees, and how to do the performance, how to do pay structure for the organizations, and how we develop the people, and how we do collective bargainings and safety for the employees also, and how we retain those employees. So it's a big menu through the human resources. And each one, if you look at it, is the main thing is for the human resources is to attract the right peoples, and they train them, develop them with they follow all kind of equal employment opportunity, diversity, age, you know, gender, sex, religion, all of them has been mixed with that one. Train them, develop them, and for the futures, and keep them there. And you can see any for the human resources, if they do anything like, not I call it a mistake or something they don't pay attention for that kind of, any of those I mentioned will hurt the organization financially. Because if it's hurt financially, it's going to affect the employees and affect the organization as a whole. For example, something come to my mind about, like, for example, like General Hospital, Whitman General Hospitals in West Virginia. They hire one individual. They think that he's a graduate from the medical college, but that individual, his name John Anderson, he wasn't even a graduate or complete his degree through that organization. That individual, he did 500 operations in that hospitals. 100 operation is malpractice. It's cost the organization a lot of money. As you know, when something has happened, that one is going to have a lawsuit against that organization. The end of that hospital is sold for $350 million. But that hospital started initially when it started $750 million. And you can look at the big gap between how much established that organization and how much is lost. The only thing it takes, only one thing to hurt the organization as a whole. And the rest of the story, you know about so many lawsuits. I don't want to keep mentioning so many companies about gender, sex, age, discrimination. So the secret is not, you know, the formula is not like is a secret or something. Is about how to do your job right, to practice it by communicating with the peoples and to do your background checks. So everything, it has to be as a sequence. Some people approach me so many times through my careers, Dr. Abraham's, you know, the person I did the interview with them, he or she wasn't the right person we bring in the organization. Hello, is not the communication, is the attitude training, what you did for those individuals. As you study through your careers, through your undergrad, even if, you know, or even if you don't study, you went to the talking with people, is about communication. When I taught so many people, I keep telling them in the classrooms or even with the organization level, communication is very important, and how to treat the peoples. I'm not asking you to go ahead and micromanage peoples, but to give the respect and to talk to them, and that individual is not going to be changed if you give them the right formula to work, because socialization is very important. And that's what's ended. And if you see through the core value from the human resources, the way I mentioned, the core value, so many times the menu I mentioned about training, developing everything, you see in the end, I didn't even mention separation. I mentioned everything, training, developing, basic structure. I didn't mention separation. Because to me, I don't believe in that one as a person. It reminds me also from what my mom told me back 20 years ago. She said, son, what are you going to school? I said, I'm going to human resources business and business administrations. You know, my mom, she's not, you know, well educated from what human resources is. So she asked me, son, what they mean human resources? I said, how to explain to her? Is a big menu. So I said, Mom, it's about hiring and firing people. She said, son, don't fire people. This one stay with me as I'm growing and working in the organization. I know what my mom meant. She meant that communication is very important for the employees you hire. Training is very important. Developing people is very important. So it's your decision the way, don't give up on people, training them, because those people, when you terminate them from the organization, will cost the organization a lot of money. The cost that you hire that individual, you bring it to the organization, and how much money you spend and how much time. And at the same time, when you're going to bring another individual to this organization, the expenses is needed to be trained as individual till it's reached that level, and also it takes also from the productivity from the organization between get someone out, get someone in. So these kind of things is very important principle for the organization. As you know, probably before you even heard that one, is we take care of the customers, and customer all the time first. Now is these days, like as you know, 3 things is coming to my mind is very important. If you take care of your employees, we'll take care of your customers, and after that one will become the stakeholders. So 3 things we have to take care of them, and it's coming like a sequence, and it's follow to reach the organization, the productivity, and stay competitive in the market. And also the organization not only doing these kind of things from the HR, human resource perspective, and also they design the job. They design the job to make each individual is comfortable for the job concerning the physical things, the motivational things, anything is happening, it has to do with the design the job to make the individual maximize the efficiency and the effectiveness for the organizations. You see most of the time Toyota and BMW, they do these kind of things for designing the job, how they do all the documentation in details, and how they have everything in, beside the documentation, it has to have open floor, flooded with light, and all the employees there, the manager, the foreman, the engineer, they work in the same floors, and they're working together. The communication right there is happening. If any issue has happened, they will solve the issue right there in the spot. To maximize the efficiency also, you're looking at so many approaches. For example, like motivational approach. This one has been rooted in the psychology literatures. What I mean by that one, for example, like motivationals, you know how, if I give you example, how the people, they do open heart surgery, and they put for them like stent inside the heart. So those people, after they leave the hospitals, they feel so much happy about what that's happening for their careers. So the people, they did the surgery for them, sometimes they invite them to the clinic, or they invite them for any kind of presentations, and they make those people, they stand in front of the people, and they talking about their story, how those individuals in front of them, they saved their life. This one will create a motivational approach, you know, for those individuals to do more job for their job, to save more life, because they are has been appreciated from those people what this has been done. This is from the motivational approach. Also, they have a biological approach. This is also as happening in the truck and engine company, how they do the frame, and how they flip the frame to attach it with the axle for the car. Because before, it has so many injuries happening. They're using the big hammers. They try to put a holes from underneath, the frame to attach to the axle. So what they did to maximize the efficiency, they flip it upside down so they can see it from the front, and they put the holes and they attach it, the frame with the axle, save lives, and also maximize the efficiency. And we see a lot of perceptuals, we see mechanistics approach. All these kind of things will help the organizations be helped with the side of the HR, human resources, maximize the efficiency for the organizations. Everything it has to do with how we about the job satisfaction for the individual, because everything it has to be consistent with the ethical value survey presented and the emotional for each individual's how they work. The conclusion from this one is to bring the good peoples inside this organization, treat them with respect, training them, develop them, and you will see the result for maximize your efficiency. Thank you.